Let's talk about your current situation. Yep. You guys are drafting Caleb Williams #1 overall.
We'll see.
Congratulations. You did it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Woo! You did it. Okay, so that is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because every report that comes out about you guys and Caleb, or Caleb's pro day, or you guys dapping up at the pro day, or having dinner at the pro day, and meeting him with his teammates and everything, everybody's like, okay, Chicago Bears fans are like, our guy is our guy. As this process has gone on, with your research into Caleb, what have you learned about him that you've loved? And what do you think people maybe had a misconception of him, or maybe you had a misconception of him going into the entire process?
Yeah, what makes it interesting is he's probably the biggest NIL football player to come through the process.
Ever.
And so you have to kind of break that down, because usually that's not the case. And, you want to know, does he have humility? Can he self-assess and say, I'll take ownership of what he needs to continue to work on and improve? And he's checked all of those boxes so far. So I've been encouraged, with the time that we've spent with him, the things that we've learned, in terms of does he fit our culture, and can he be a guy that helps take the Chicago Bears to the next level.
Do you hate the fact that it's like such a matter of fact that he's going? Because like when I was with the Colts when Andrew Luck was coming out. Yep. Andrew Luck took a visit to Washington because they had the #2 pick or whatever. And in the building, whenever he was taking his visit to the Colts and said he had to go to Washington next, we're all like, yep, worth it. yeah, completely worth it. Does it suck that you potentially have like next to no leverage with the #1 pick because everybody seemingly knows exactly what you're doing? Or is it great because there's a guy that everybody assumes is going to be the #1 overall pick?
I think it's year to year. But when you have pretty good clarity, it really doesn't make a difference.
AJ's got a question.
How do you not get swayed by sometimes, not this year, like just in general, when you're drafting players, like not being, I guess, like whatever the public may think. Sometimes there's like a lock that the public thinks, hey, you need to take this guy. You need him. How do you sometimes go and actually study and realize, is it tough to go against that sometimes where the public thinks, hey, this is what you need to do?
You don't pick
And you're
Caleb.
thinking the long game. Hey, I just wait 2 or 3 years and you guys will understand what I'm doing.
It happens every year, and I think that's the hardest part of being a general manager or a leader in any space is you're doing the homework, you're getting the correct information. You have a group of really good scouts that are giving that to you. If that goes against the narrative, you gotta stand up against that.
And you're getting killed like in the instant, but hey,
absolutely.
I'm playing the long game. This is going to work out eventually.
Absolutely.
How many picks as a whole do you guys have?
Right now we have 4.
Okay, when's the next one after #1?
9.
Oh, yes, you were in a good spot.
Really
Yeah, great spot.
Okay, that's a lot of research. You got to do a lot of shit here.
Yeah. Yep.
Has this been a very busy, active? Obviously, this is your most active time. But what is it? Pro days are the best. The meetings are the best. The visits. What is the best?
Visits, time spent with the guys. You guys have been in a locker room before. When you spend time with someone, you look them in the eye. You go out to dinner. You want to make sure that fits in with the locker room. So that's going to be really, really important.
You go to dinner with Caleb and his teammates.
Yep.
Is what we learned as of the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
They cheers each other. Good toast. Or is it good food? Somebody pick up a tab.
It was great food. I picked up the tab.
Wow.
Hey.
Good GM right
Way
there.
to go.
That's a good GM. Do you want a guy to offer to pick up the tab?
No, he doesn't have to offer. He doesn't have to offer.
Oh, highest NIL guy of all time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Tone's got a question for you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Justin Fields because I saw you talk, and I believe you said it was one of the hardest things that you've ever had to do as a GM. I believe there was a poster in your house of Justin Fields. You said, now, were you aware when you took the GM role that it was going to be that hard? Is it just because, Justin is the guy that he is? And also, I'm a Steelers fan, so what are we getting with Justin Fields?
Yeah, well, you're getting a great kid. Works his butt off. Dynamic, we've all seen that in terms of how he moves. The person's outstanding. You won't be wrong there at all. In terms of hard decisions, absolutely. His jersey is up, in our house. Sure. It's my son was Justin Fields for Halloween. So
I was Takate.
Great costume.
Yeah.
Which is a whale.
So those conversations are tough. So I get from the fan base why that's a difficult thing. But again, it's my job to really look at the short term and the long term and set our organization up for success.
We're trying to piece the culture together, though, and I think they asked about that. Like, you're trying to look for a specific person to be a Chicago Bear now going forward. Like, we have an identity, obviously, and you think you are finding that or have that at this point?
Yep. Tough, violent, fast, explosive. Guys that are passionate about football.
Love ball, right?
Love ball. Gotta love ball.
So we heard that about Caleb. Whenever we were at the Combine, we were walking around, me and Mad Mel, and we were chit-chatting with everybody because going into it, not you, us outside who didn't know him, we heard his team talk a lot. Like, hey, Caleb's team saying this. And is that even Caleb's team, or is that just somebody that might be in the in the sphere, but doesn't actually know what they're talking about. Right. So we thought immediately, like, okay, maybe, buddy, the NFL existed before you. The NFL will exist after you. He wants a percentage of the team. He's not going here. He's not doing this. This is all meant from the team. None from Caleb, but from the team. So your immediate thought is like, oh, this guy's prima donna diva.
Yeah.
Okay, especially at the quarterback position. But then you got the GQ, you got the NIL, you got everything that's going on. Right. That kind of all feeds into it. Then we go to the combine, and everybody's like, everybody we talk to, equipment managers, athletic trainers, teammates, coaches, everybody loves him, and he's obsessed with ball. I don't think that gets talked about at all, or wasn't talked about at all.
No, but that's what you got to be careful with what you read and what you hear.
How do you find out if somebody loves ball? Do you talk to all those people, or is it
you
questions?
talk. I mean, we've talked to probably 30, 40 people for a lot of these prospects just to get a real feel for, is that passion there? Are they tough? Are they going to go through hard things? Are they resilient? Because really, with this setup of college football, it's harder to even take criticism. It's harder to give criticism because if I get too much, then I'm out.
Guys are getting soft, you're saying. Guys are getting soft.
Maybe a little bit.
We think that.
Yeah, for sure.
We think that. That's why, like, building a team would be impossible
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, but I want to see guys that have gone through hard. You know, they've had struggles. For Caleb specifically, like this year was not exactly the way that he wanted. He had to go through some hard times, and he probably learned a lot about himself and how to overcome those things. Because in the league, that's going to happen. Yeah, and you got to get through it. So.
Yeah, and there's a game coming.
Yep.
And then another one. And then 18, if you guys could have your way. Todd's got a question for
You talked about it now with hard times. How many questions do you ask around NIL? Because Saban came out and he talked about his end of season meetings with his players, and they just come in and they want to know if they're starting and how much money they're getting. Do you ask the coaches and people like that if the player has come in, if he's transferred a bunch of times, if they care obviously about the ball, but do they only care about the money? Do they care only about the playing time and the transferring and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's a really good touch point to see how they're going to handle it. There's some situations where I think it helps us, right? Because before that, you're going to get a bag of money, and then how are you going to respond after? But we've already made the decision. Now we can see some of these guys have had it before. How do they manage their situation? How's their structure? Who are the people around them? Are they staying dedicated to the sport that they're supposed to love? So you can get some good answers through this. So it's not all negative about it.